What if I told you that Terminator T-1000 was planned to be a guest character in Mortal Kombat long before Mortal Kombat 1 was even a thing? And also, Madame Bo, our most recent, newest cameo fighter, is actually pretty much inspired by the landlady from Kung Fu Hustle, according to a NetherRealm Studios dev that talked to Polygon just a few days ago. Yo, what's up? It's Dynasty, back with some more Mortal Kombat 1 MK Uno on this Sunday afternoon. Don't let the Fortnite Mortal Kombat gameplay trailer fool you. I just think while we're here, we might as well showcase the newest content in the background. And if you haven't heard the news, if you're going to be buying this bundle, if you want to support your boy, use creator code Dynasty1031. If you do that, I'll love you forever. Keep in mind, come April 1st, that's when the Mortal Kombat stages are going to be added to the map, along with the Mortal Kombat game mode, so I'll probably be grinding a lot. Thinking about streaming it that day. I think I'm going to, if not sooner, so be on the lookout for that. Add me and all that fun stuff. It's going to be a good time. But back to today's topic. Yes, according to this Polygon article, which I'll have linked down below, we'll be doing a deep dive into a lot of the quotes. They've been planning on having T-1000 for a minute, and they were just waiting for the technology to reach its point to where T-1000 would be as authentic as ever. And in this article, they talk about the whole creation process of T-1000, what went into the actual origins of Madame Bo, where they took that inspiration from the landlady in Kung Fu Hustle. Pretty awesome. Now, before we break it all down, go over some of these quotes, talking about all this stuff, you do me a solid, takes you a second, drop a like on the video. Without you, the MK content does not happen. Again, I want to say thank you guys for supporting your boy, using the Fortnite code, and loving the Fortnite content. I never thought I would slowly transition into ever talking about Fortnite, but, you know, here we are. It took like 10 years, but it happened. So, without further ado, let's break all this stuff down. Let's have some fun, and, well, let's get into it. So, first things first, again, all this stuff will be linked down below. Initially, this morning, I first saw Thinny's quote saying, it's official, Madame Bo is the landlady from Kung Fu Hustle, and that's where I stumbled upon, again, the Event Hubs article that was discussing the Polygon article where designer Nick DeCastro, he's actually the developer, I think the lead developer at NetherRealm currently, actually talked about all this stuff. Says here in this intro quote, guest characters are always a challenge, but there's at least one thing that's easy about bringing Mortal Kombat 1's newest combatant T-1000 to the fighting game. A shared understanding of what the character is and what he's capable of in terms of being a cold-blooded killer. Now, unfortunately, when I was proofreading this, I didn't see any reference to Killer Instinct. T-1000 has a damn near 100% replication of like the classic Glacius like uppercut move. I get it. T-1000 inspired Glacius so they can get away with not saying, oh, well, yeah, we saw Killer Instinct do it first. And so that kind of bummed me out. But nonetheless, they go on to say, we're major fans of movies from the 80s and 90s, so we're all pretty well versed in the references from T2. And DeCastro says, we've all probably seen the movie multiple times, and there's things that stick out, things that just landed in your consciousness, scenes that you've seen, or just certain attacks. And as a design team, when we communicate to each other ideas on different things, we will tend to bring up some of these. Now, going on, it says, in other words, when the Mortal Kombat dev team is batting around ideas, the developers will use shared knowledge of action films like T2 as shorthand. So identifying iconic moves from T-1000, like his finger stab and arm blades, gives the game's designers a foundation to work from. For MK1's new cameo fighter, Madame Bo, the new team drew from Kung Fu movies, like Stephen Chow's Kung Fu Hustle, for her meme-worthy shoe slap attack, which is arguably the funniest and I'd say best fatal blow in the game. Goes on to say, in many ways, what we'll do is start from the reference and come up with rough ideas for either special moves, or in some cases, when we're trying to capture the essence of the character or the visual presentation of the character, we'll drop in images or videos of things that we've seen. We'll start with things that are very critical or we feel are keys to the character. Moving on, it says, it's a character that we've always wanted to do, talking about T-1000, even going back to previous games. We really couldn't in the past. It was just not something that was technically feasible to do in the best possible way until MK1, where we've really made like quantum leap with our engine, tools, and technology. That process involved weeks of concept and months of development time. There's a lot of iteration between the art department and design and the gameplay teams. In the case of T-1000, it's one of the most challenging characters that we've worked on, especially as a guest character. Now, I will say, for him being the most difficult they've ever pieced together, by far, in my honest opinion, I feel like he's probably the most authentic guest character they've probably ever made, just because T-1000, his whole moveset, it's so unique. He's liquid metal. If you've played previous Mortal Kombat games and you're familiar with other guest characters, for the most part, when it comes to making like an authentic appearance as a guest in a fighting game, NetherRealm kind of knocks it out the park. I really can't think of a guest character that really didn't really feel like a guest character. Some people really hated MK9 Freddy. They really did. I understand why. It was the character likeness and all that, but that was like the first real guest we got in Mortal Kombat. I know we got Kratos as well, but you get what I'm trying to say, like universally on both systems. So since then, man, I feel like they've really mastered the arts of making these characters feel like they deserve and have a spot in Mortal Kombat. I understand you guys hate guests, but at least they feel the part. They feel like a working, authentic version of themselves in a Mortal Kombat game. So kudos to NetherRealm. I know a lot of us hate MK1. I'm not the biggest fan, obviously. But hey, you gotta give them their credit, man. T-1000, I think, is probably the best guest character in the game and arguably in Mortal Kombat history. Now, going on, it says, I think the visual presentation comes across in a very strong way with this character. The way you can start a combo string, turn into liquid metal, go up in the air, knock your opponent down, turn into liquid metal, then go through the ground and pop up and then start another string? The transition from your human to liquid form when you're pulling off combos in the game is probably, to me, one of the most impressive things. And that's what I'm saying, like, arguably one of the craziest things to ever be pulled off in a fighting game. I'm just saying, you gotta give them their fucking flowers, guys. They knocked it out the park. Now, goes on to say, when you hit him with a super move, he has to look like a liquid shape. So for every character that hits him with a super, we had to go back and make separate versions of a T-1000 version that looked correct. So for those who've been wondering for a while how they pulled it off, well, there you go. That's how they pulled it off. They're leaking the process, which I told y'all to trust moving into this. I was like, yo, they're gonna knock it out the park. They're saving the best for last. And again, I think they delivered. Rounding out this article of one last quote here from Nick. It says, cinema artist, mocap, a mocap actor, many animators, and many designers were involved. There's a primary designer that kind of drives that effort, and that designer, he did an incredible job, but you have also other designers that help out. And then you have the audio team, the art and effects team, the different tech teams. The T-1000 has a lot of special cases in the game, so it kind of brought in even more resources than a normal character would because there are more problems to solve. So, yo, they did it. At least at the end of the day, he wasn't delayed, the game's in a better shape, and universally, nothing but praise. I've not seen anyone really go too negative with T-1000, and I think that's a good thing because I honestly do think NetherRealm did a really good job. So there you go. I thought this was a really interesting article because it confirms they've been wanting to do T-1000 for years, but the tech just wasn't there yet. And again, confirmation that Madame Bo is 100% inspired by the landlady from Kung Fu Hustle, like cigarettes and all. Like, it's perfect. It's perfect. So I always love how NetherRealm Studios takes these like references, Kung Fu Hustle, Big Trouble Little China. I'm sure you guys in the comments can also give me even more references to other forms of media that Mortal Kombat completely ripped from. I'm not gonna say completely ripped, but, you know, took inspiration from. It's awesome to know that things change. 30 years later, they also stay the same. And I'm sure for a long time, they probably were wondering, like, man, we could somehow get the landlady character from Kung Fu Hustle in a Mortal Kombat game. That would be pretty fucking spot on and make the most sense because, well, it works. I think everyone likes Madame Bo, dude. Tea House and all. So I thought this was a great read. Again, it'll be linked down below. What do y'all think of this? Do you think there's another character that, for technical reasons, hasn't been a guest character in a Mortal Kombat game yet, a la how we just saw with T-1000? I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. I gotta say as well, It's a toss-up between Spawn and T-1000 for me. I think both of those are probably the most authentic representations of guests we've ever gotten. I even enjoy Jason a lot too. I don't know. I'm kind of biased with a few of these guests. It's almost like I kind of like guest characters in Mortal Kombat. Oh no, should have said that. But anyways, guys, that's all I got for y'all today. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for some more MK content like this on the channel. Until next time, been your host, Dynasty. Guys, please take care, stay safe. Use that Fortnite creator code Dynasty1031 if you plan on buying the Mortal Kombat bundle. I want to say you have like 2 or 3 weeks left before it goes away, almost the middle or the end of April. So don't fret, you got time to still get that bundle. I know it's like 50, 60 bucks to get everything. So just keep that in mind. Again, April 1st is when the actual stages get added, point of interest, and all that fun stuff. Gonna be a good time. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Hope you're having a great weekend. Peace.
Yeah. Stepping on it, crack, but I'm not superstitious.